Hello and welcome to the Mental Health Gaming Podcast. Once again, I am Bradley, and this week, well, I just want to point out, we may be the masters of ceremony, but only one person knows what it is like to be a podcast MC. He's got personality, originality, and on a microphone, it's just got to be Stu. How you doing?
Not bad, dropping some dope beats, as usual, you know.
Can I just ask you a question about that intro?
Yeah, go on.
Do you really like it?
I think it is wicked. Yeah.
You're the ones, I'm definitely the twos.
You are definitely a number two. I agree with that. Yeah.
It's just been, I've been annoying Lorraine with that all week. Just like, that's been stuck in my head.
So she's not been loving it, no?
Well, no. That's the title of my sex tape.
Oh, nice. Oh, dear. Good start.
Yeah. Do you know what else I love it?
Well, I'd like to say, but it's not good for the kiddies, so you tell me.
It's video games.
Oh, right. Yeah. Cool.
I've not actually played much this week. I don't know why. I've been playing repeat stuff, so I'll have little chats about those, but tell me you've been playing something, Stu. Otherwise, this is a very bad video game podcast.
It'll be very short as well. Yeah, no, thankfully I have. So I've been playing a few bits and pieces, and they've kind of weirdly merged and flipped around, and it didn't end up being what I expected. So the first one I'll talk about is the DLC for Ace Combat 7, which just got released. So I don't
What year is this?
I know. So they've released DLC as, and it's a bit cheeky because they're like, oh, it's the 25th anniversary of the franchise, so we're going to release some DLC to market. And I was like, oh, that's great. And it's like, but it's paid for DLC. And it's kind of like, well, that's a little bit against the spirit of things, but never mind. I'm stupid, so I'm going to buy it anyway. And I don't buy DLC very often, but Ace Combat 7 is just amazing, and it's one of my favourite. It's my favourite of that type of game, I think. Sort of, you know, semi-sim, semi-arcade shooter.
Yeah.
Just like it more than anything of that type. And it's like, I even like it more than Afterburner Climax, which is the most sexually named fighting game that has ever been made. And
is that the Xbox Live Arcade one?
Yeah, it was released on that. It was a Lindbergh release. It was that was a really weird period in Sega's history. It was a time when they actually made games for a start that were any good.
Yeah,
but they decided they were going to do some arcade releases, and they did Outrun, obviously Outrun 2, and Afterburner Climax, and I think one other, but I can't even remember what it is. But Afterburner Climax is amazing. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Afterburner Climax. We'll save that for another day. The DLC is it's all right. It's not bad. It's 3 new aircraft, and they're pretty decent. None of them are a win button aircraft, which is good. They're, you know, varied and differently stylized. And the best thing about Ace Combat 7 is that they've got the right, each plane has got the right number of stats to make it interesting, so that you can kind of go, oh yeah, that would be good for this and this would be good for that, but not so many that it just becomes stato nerdy kind of, you know, you need a book to track it all. So yeah, the DLC is pretty decent, and you know, it was just an excuse to play again, and I've already put 40 hours on it, completed it loads of times. So I've been using Cheat Engine, which is PC obviously, because you can't do stuff like that on consoles. And I've been inputting as much money as I want, so I can buy all the different stuff. So I can play around with all the stuff that would take months to unlock otherwise. So yeah, that's good. And you know, it's called Cheat Engine, and it is cheating the money, but it's not. Even that's not a win button. It's just variety, really. Yeah. So yeah, so I've been caning that, and just I can't stop really.
Yeah, it's I like Ace Combat. The series is actually 26 years old, not 25. Air Combat came out in 1995.
Right.
So
there we are.
Just want to point out Bandai Namco are forgetting their own history.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You know, but I've got an RG 351 coming soon. Should be a bit stuck in a mail office at the moment, but in Chelmsford, because Chelmsford sucks. But I'm going to boot up the first Ace Combat on that.
Yeah.
Because I love the first Ace Combat. That still holds up I don't care what anyone says, it still holds up. Nothing to do with DLC. DLC sounds pretty okay. More plays to play more Ace Combat is always a good thing.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to see an Ace Combat 8, and I want to see them go over the top anime cutscenes with that semi-realistic flight arcade simcade flying stuff that they have.
Yeah, no, I'm desperate to see it. There's been hints that they are doing an 8, and which would be brilliant. And it's the reason why I just buy into the DLC straight away, because I really want to fund it. I really want them to spot that there are people playing, and just get it done. Yeah.
Also, free money for the executives of Bandai Namco who are listening, because I know. Remaster the first 3 Ace Combat, the first 3. Just go Ace Combat original trilogy remastered, stick it on everything, put it on Switch with some gyro controls as well as an option. Just saying, it would work. Free money, fun Ace Combat 8.
Yeah,
everyone's happy.
True, and also my obligatory add VR to all of them as well.
Yes, because flight sims are definitely, along with racing games, the sort where you just go, that's the reason enough to own a VR headset.
Precisely. I was, funnily enough, watching a video on YouTube last night. I follow this content creator called Residents of Evil, which is obviously all Resident Evil, unsurprisingly.
I was unsure.
And he was playing... exactly, you needed that spelling out, didn't you? He was playing through a fan-made first-person perspective Resident Evil, based entirely on the PS1 version. And there's just something about that aesthetic. Yeah. It's really, really excellent. It looks cheesy and a bit rubbish, but it kind of deliberately now, when you do it that way, it's like, it's kind of picking that as a deliberate choice. And obviously, next thing I'm going to say is completely obvious, is that having that in VR would be excellent. I mean, pretty much having everything in VR would be excellent. But, you pick your battles. So, yes, that was good as well. So, yes, get them all remastered, get them in VR, and I think you'd sell a copy to, like, pretty much every headset owner you have.
Yeah, you're guaranteed at least 2 sales of an Ace Combat original trilogy remaster. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Absolutely, I would do it. Yeah, me and you and no bugger else. Yeah.
So a little bit of foreshadowing, though. A little bit of foreshadowing.
Ooh.
It's okay as DLC, but would you say it's the best DLC you've played this year? Maybe we'll find out a bit later.
You never know. You never know.
So I've been playing a couple of bits on and off, really. I've been back into some Tetris. Again, it's absolutely brilliant. I got sent, bizarrely, I didn't need to advertise them, so this isn't even sponsored, but I got sent some Raycon headphones.
Oh, right.
I was calling out on Twitter about it, and I got a PM from them. Just went, someone went, yeah, I'll send you some Raycon headphones. Okay, cool. Forgot about it. They took a while to get here. And I thought, do you know what? Let's test how good these are. We'll try it with, obviously, something like Tetris Effect, because it's amazing. And yeah, I got stuck into Tetris Effect again. Still struggle with some parts because of my vision. They've improved some of the accessibility options, so you can turn down the level of light in there and stuff like that, but it's still not enough in some areas for me. I really struggled then again with, there's like a section where it's like almost as though you're looking on a virtual boy, so it's a dark background with like red tetraminos. And I struggled a bit with that. I just had to feel my way through it a little bit, or be a bit more careful.
Yeah.
But I played it in relax mode, so it didn't really matter too much. But yeah, I've been really enjoying some more Tetris Effect, and going back through my Steam library, playing some other puzzle games. So a bit more Mixolumia, gave that a go. Kavel, gave that a go. And yeah, just have a little fun time playing nice, easy to play, difficult to master puzzle games. But that's pretty much been my week in games. Because I can't talk about another game I've been playing yet. I can mention it, but I can't review it or anything or talk about it in a critical way. And that's Wolfstride. Can't wait to talk about that next week.
Oh, I thought you were going to shadow drop that you've been playing Halo Infinite campaign and yeah, the guys at 343 and Microsoft swore me to silence. I got an NDA and all sorts.
Well, not quite. Do I look like Jeff Gersman?
Sadly not.
I mean, I've got his belly, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And I've not been sacked from GameSpot yet.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's a game I'm really looking forward to. But that you talking about Tetris Effect reminded me that there is a funny bit in it, and I think that you probably have to make fairly drastic measures if you don't want it. So there's a couple of levels where foreground and background items seem to deliberately get in the way of. This is in journey mode. There's one where there's these silhouettes of cowboys on horses, and they kind of jump in front of your view, and you can't actually see for a moment. And it seems like a fairly strange choice. I mean, I think I know where they're going with it, but it seems like a fairly odd choice. I don't know what you think.
I've got to say, I must have been that in the zone. Didn't notice.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever noticed that as a issue. But I don't know if that's because I get so laser focused and stuff like that. I honestly don't know. I'm not saying it's not an issue, but I've not noticed that one. I know the bit you're talking about. I might go and do that as just a single level and see what I think then. But yeah, I would like the ability to turn off effects, even though I know that's the basis of the game. I would like the ability, from an accessibility point of view, from a high score point of view, just to turn off the effects. Have the music, or at least turn them right down, something, so you could just go, I just want to concentrate on the grid and play it this way. But that's kind of taking you out of the spirit of the game in a way, so I get why that's not there.
Yes, I suppose they've created the game entirely based around its differences and the fact that it's got all these flashy effects and changes of pace and tone and everything. So yeah, I suppose it would be hard to pluck those out, but it would be nice if they just stuck in an extra mode that was the base
pure
game,
Tetris,
pure
yeah.
Tetris.
It's a tough one, because my argument would be, as someone who loves all forms of Tetris, would be, if I wanted to play pure Tetris, then I'd get Tetris the Grandmaster.
Yeah.
And if I wanted competitive Tetris, I'd be playing some Puyo Puyo Tetris, just Tetris only mode, or Tetris 99 for the Battle Royale. So Tetris Effect is it's an experience, and I forget that sometimes. So when I ask for the accessibility options, a lot of it comes through frustration that I'm not getting the scores I want and stuff like that. But it's an experience. So it's not Tetris as we know of growing up with Tetris. It's such a weird one to explain to someone. It is Tetris, but it's not Tetris.
Yeah.
And you can play it like Tetris, but you have to experience it different to Tetris. Yeah, I'm all for, I do wonder with the journey mode, if we take everything out of it, such as the visual effects, which I want an option to take out once I've played it, does that completely remove the original vision for the game? I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like I need to go and wash myself, because I feel like I've had a little dig at Tetris now, and they're going to come and take my golden Tetris statue away.
Yeah, you've got one of those on the wall. Like YouTubers, when they reach 1 million subscribers, you got one for
mentioning Tetris a million times.
Yeah, and complimenting it 10,000 times on a podcast. Yeah, but
I'm only doing it. I'm trying to butter up Enhance, you see, because what I want them to do next, they've got to move on from Tetris. They've done Lumines, Res, obviously. They've done all those. I want them to see and do a spiritual successor to Droplets in the style of an Enhanced game. Just putting it out there.
I know.
Just putting it out there. Me and Mizuguchi san, he's complimented me on Twitter, so possible.
It is. No, I think that's... they seem like a really good outfit for that kind of thing. And I think there's a big scope for it. And I would love to see some stuff, in the similar to vein to what they did with Pac-Man CE, just revamping something and just giving it a whole new breath of life, just from changing it into a more... varied experience, because that's what it's doing, isn't it? It's taking a core concept and adding variety, but without taking anything away.
Just imagine a rhythm-based Pac-Man game by Enhance.
Yeah.
Just imagine it.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what they need to do. They need to take as many old classics as they can and enhance them. And that's what they could call the series, Enhance the Classics.
There you go, you see?
They could do Pong. Imagine Pong and Breakout in their style.
Now you're
with
getting
the
it.
music and everything. Oh, yeah, do
This is what
Mark
I meant.
McDonald. Mark McDonald, I know you listen once, maybe. I don't know. Do it. I'll tweet it.
There you are.
I'll put it out there. Then make droplets. Just want droplets.
Make droplets. I'm toying with the idea of learning coding just so I can make one and then, give it to you and be like a kid with
I
a
only
toy.
need a single level. That's great. You don't even have to do all of it. I just want the first level because I was in the top 10 in the world on that. And I say, as the 7th best droplets player in the world, I should have some say.
I agree. You need that power, definitely. You deserve it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it from me. I managed to go on. Considering I've not played much this week or done anything of note, I managed to talk a lot. So, have you got anything else, Stu, for this week?
Thankfully, yes, I do. The next one I've been playing is... I made a terrible mistake. I made a terrible error. I bought Death's Door. And why is it a terrible error? Well, it's a really good game. It looks lovely. This is on the Switch. I might argue that, it's a little bit... The characters and stuff are a bit small for that kind of a screen. But, that's a nitpick. It's a really excellent game, very well designed, looks great, moves well. It just all meshes together in a very fluid way that's very satisfying for people who like Souls games. I was just stupid. I got swept up in it. Oh, people are saying it's ace. Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll get over the fact that I don't like Souls games. No, I can't get over the fact that I don't like Souls games. And it's just the minute a game that isn't Devil May Cry or Bayonetta has a roll button or evade button, I'm pretty much out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's got that. It's got the roll button. It's got the even basic enemies take lots and lots of hits to die. You're a glass cannon, so you can only take a couple of hits and you're dead. It's just everything about it that I really, really dislike. It's kind of a very dense area that you see far too many times because it makes you become so good through repetition that you see them over and over and over again, and in a way that isn't like classic platformers. And it's part of the aesthetic, but everything looking the same is just, to me, it doesn't look exactly the same, but compare it mentally to any old games from the 90s where, I'm not being like nostalgic here. Not okay, let's choose something else. So compare it to the Strider reboot a few years back, which was an okay game.
Yes.
Not great, but it was all right. Lots of different areas, tons of variety, lots of different enemies. You'd see a lot of different stuff within an hour, and it'd still take you 10 hours at least to complete, probably more. So Death's Door, no, none of that. You're just seeing the same stuff over and over again, and then people love that. I think there's a combination of like familiarity and map learning and the way that they improve against specific enemies, like learning specific patterns and not having energy bars above bosses and things like that really clicks with people. For me, it just totally puts me off. So it's a really good game, but I really don't like it.
Yeah, I see. There's a few Deaths games out that have got the word death in them. And there's one, I think it's like a 3D type game, and I was like, don't do 3D too much with those sort of things. I can't keep up. And then there was like Death's Door, which is like the Hades isometric style, but with a Soulsborne gameplay mechanic, and I really fancied that one, which is the one you said you've been playing. But there's so many of them now that I'm not in a rush to play it. I'm like, I hate saying this sometimes because like the developers deserve the sales, because it's a, you know, from all accounts, it's a technically really well-made game. It's a brilliant game if you're into that genre. But I'm at the point now where I'm getting so burnt out by similar games that it's like I'll just wait for it to be in a sale or a bundle.
Yeah, you might as well, because inevitably it will go down in price very, very fast, and not because it's not good, but because the audience for indie games, even if they're indie games in a style that's really fashionable, the audience is comparatively small next to, you know, Dark Souls or Elden Ring or whatever. So it'll be dirt cheap soon, and I think that's fair, because I mean, you could even pirate it and say, well, my friend who doesn't like it and doesn't play it bought a copy and just get away. No, I'm only joking, but you know, it's kind of like, no, wait for a sale if you're not even that bothered. And I would just really like to know why people are just so happy to support those kind of games and not support stuff that's, you know, built from the ground up. There's no procedural generation. There's very little repetition. There's lots of well-designed enemies. I mean, all this stuff costs money and time, but, you know, it's worth investing in. But anyway, there you go. Just a mini rant.
Yeah. No, I say I'm quite looking forward to giving it a go, but I'm not, as I said, I'm not in a rush. I've got so many other games that I need to get round to and play properly. Like, you know, I've just picked up, because I got it super, super cheap and had some credit, Timberboard, which is the city builder, but what if beavers?
Nice.
So
nice.
I want to, that's how you sell a game to me. Just go, here's a genre you like, but what about? I'm like, I'm in.
Oh yeah, like
that does me.
In the early 2000s, where everything was monkeys, it's like, what about this genre but with monkeys?
Yeah,
or apes, or yeah.
Yeah. What about football film but with dog?
Yeah. Hey, yeah, nice.
Oh, now we're talking. Wasn't there? I'm sure there was an American football game that was made that had a dog in it, and it was like dogs playing American football back in like the late 90s.
Oh, probably.
Oh. Yeah, it was like PC. It was the sort of stuff that had come on the PC, and I'm positive. But it was like not like a famous like TV dog, but it was like, I'm sure the dog was well known, or the name on it was like fairly well known, like Bill Belichick or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure if we put it out on Twitter, someone will tell me. But yeah, I'm sure it had a dog in it as a game, which is really weird. And now I want Air Bud the movie, the game.
Jerry Rice.
Sorry, hey God, what?
Jerry Rice and Knights dog football.
Jerry Rice made a football game. I don't know if he made it, because he's a gridiron football player. But yeah, Jerry Rice made an American football game that starred dogs.
Nice. Do you know what? I'd pay a lot of money. Well, I wouldn't, but I would really like to see a film where somebody starts up a dog American football league, and you know they have to coach the team to success. And what would be brilliant is if they had. Do you remember the flamboyant character from Mannequin called Hollywood? You remember him?
Yes.
He was the coach.
The fact that I remember mannequins enough.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly. So there you go. Hollywood coaching a bunch of dogs to play American football. Oh, that'd be so good.
I'd do it. Especially give the dogs to get concussion as well. Their concussion injuries and stuff like that. It's like, no, they've got to wear helmets now. You can't damage dogs.
Yeah.
You can tell I've not played much this week.
Just a bit. Well, the last one that I've been playing is continuing to play Lone Echo 2. Which you know continues to be excellent, and my time has been stolen from it by Ace Combat. That is just how good that game is. But yeah, Lone Echo 2 is definitely right up there with one of the best I've played this year. It continues to be really good. It's about 2 hours in, and it's brought in some new ideas and stuff. One thing I'm really hoping is that when we get into the later game, that it brings in quite a few new ideas, because at the moment it's not it's a little bit too much in the path of the previous game, you know, and I'd like a little bit more originality inserted. But, it's a longer game than the first one, so I think they might be injecting that sort of bit at a time. So we'll see. But as it stands, really solid, really excellent, very good fun to play.
Yeah, it's you described it. It really intrigues me, and it's one I really do fancy giving a go. I do at some point. I keep making these mental lists, which I'll forget down the line. So because I should never do that. I forget loads of stuff. But anyway. It's it's one that I've seen videos of it. I've seen sort of like the descriptions of it. Your opinion of it. I want to give it a go.
Yeah, it's one of those. I would talk more about the specifics, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone because, with a lot of games, it's kind of like, people are going to play it and they're either going to be attracted to it or they're not. There's very few games where there are real massive barriers to people who want to play something not being able to play it. You can even play a version of like Cyberpunk on a PS4 and Xbox One. It might be rubbish experience, but you can technically do it. But there's
public service announcement. Don't do that.
Yeah, but But this has a proper full barrier to it in that you need to have a full PC rig and as well as a headset. So I don't want to spoil anything, but I can talk about the controls in brief. So I've mentioned, like last week, trying to explain VR in general, but for this game specifically, the best things it does is it puts a lot of stuff on your wrists and hands that you can do, and it's kind of like you can, in the game, poke, twist, turn, drag, all that sort of stuff to do stuff, including making responses. So like analysing things, scanning, but also talking to people. You got so much of it built into what's around your hands and your wrists that it makes it so tactile, and it just brings that focus. Your hands are always there, very present in VR, and they're key to what you're doing. And it's great to have things that you can do with them all the time. And Half-Life Alyx does that really well as well. But this does it to an even more specified and technical level. And because we all use our hands, we can do very tight and intricate manipulations with them without having to learn a set of button presses. So that's another thing that it does exceptionally well.
Yeah, no, again, stop it, because I can't use VR at the moment.
Sorry.
So stop it. I'm going to ban VR talk, I think.
No.
Yeah, you can ban something that I like, so we'll ban indie talk, we'll ban VR talk.
We'll just be talking about what we had for tea, and that'll be it.
Yeah, some podcasts do that. So,
Well, we don't ramble at all. We're very focused.
Yeah, 100% laser focus. My mind wasn't drifting at some points when I was talking, thinking about, we've got to get onto the Game of Year stuff now. So, but yeah, I suppose that's it really for what we've been playing. Mixed bag. And it's very hard. There's not much new coming out at the moment. There's still good stuff coming out, but I haven't got round to playing, and we're not big AAA guys here at all. So they don't get a mention.
Barely.
But we're at the end of the year, which means inevitably we have to turn out, we don't have to, but we turn our attention to Game of the Year. But we also are coming towards episodes 96, 97, 98, 99 and 100. So what we're going to be doing is almost going, what's that thing Fortnite do? They have like chapter 2, aren't they, there on? We're going to finish out chapter 1 of the Mental Health Gaming Podcast with a few bits. So we've got to have a few weeks of Game of the Year leading up to New Year's. Different categories, not just like Game of the Year. That'll be Christmas Day, whatever it is. Stu worked out a kind of schedule, whatever that is, and I just go along with it. Then we come up to episode 100, and then we're going to not reset or anything like that, but we're going to kind of move on, and a few little changes with how we structure things that will hopefully improve what we do. Well, not improve because we're good enough anyway, but you get the idea. So we're going to start off with a bit of Game of the Year. Now, I don't know what we're doing for Game of the Year in terms of categories. So Stu is going to, I think he's picked out some categories randomly from a Dropbox type thing. and we go from there, and we'll pull them out, and from the top of our heads, we'll work out just what is our Game of the Year contenders for various different categories, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Probably not.
Probably not.
Stu, explain it.
Well, I just thought, well, we're going to do our favourites of the year, and that'll be released on Christmas Day. But I thought we could just do some random categories, pretty much like you said, a grab bag of stuff in the run-up, because it kind of just forces you to think of things in different ways, and it's interesting, And the first, I thought we'll do 3 a week in the run-up, and the first one I thought we would do would be the best sound and or music in a game of the year. And so basically go through what you think you've played that's got the best sort of stuff that goes in your ears.
Right, easy answer. Tetris Effect connected. Done. What's next? No, go on.
No, I know.
Tetris Effect connected is, it's a default, that one for me for that question. Let's have a little think. But best sound. Oh, I know. The sound design in Chernobylite is so good.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, that is so good. I put my headphones on, played that, and it's got really good surround sound. I was like spooked out by certain sounds when there's like quiet moments and you hear the chatter of your companions, and the claustrophobic sound that when you're into like areas of also, did you know it's called Chernobyl, not Chernobyl? Didn't know that.
No.
But I'm going to continue to say Chernobyl because that's what I've been saying for years. But when you go into like sort of like different areas, it gets really claustrophobic as you go through like tunnels and things like that. The sound design on it works really, really well, and at no point did I feel comfortable within that game. But that's probably, thinking about it, that's probably one of my big standouts.
Excellent. No, that's a really good choice. Yeah, it kind of intrigues me. It's got a bit of Stalker, in it, hasn't it?
Yes.
Kind of, and that sort of game always appeals to me. I'm looking forward to the new Stalker whenever that finally comes out.
Yeah,
that's like.
But it's definitely an homage. It feels like a fan-made homage to Stalker, but with super high production values to it. It's like it's a love letter to that game.
Excellent. I'm really bad for paying attention to sounds. Like when people tell me like, oh, the music in that film was so good, I'm like, there was music? I'm one of them, which is ironic because I love listening to music, but I just kind of go with it. I get sucked in and I don't really pay attention.
Of course there was music, Stu. You was watching The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was watching a musical. I was watching Hamilton. No, but but there's a couple that even then stand out, and it's not a game of this year, but that Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, which I've not put enough time into, but is very good. That has got an incredibly good sound mix. That is just that's really good. It's very, very creepy. It's just got a really, really good mix, and it's got loads of periods of sort of quiet where there's like background audio of like crows cawing and the water lapping, because I told you it's like set in a flooded sort of area. Really, really good environmental ambient sound, and then the actual sounds of like combat and the walkers themselves is really kind of graphic and brutal. So I would say that's the best that I've listened to this year. The best of this year might be Forza Horizon.
Ooh.
Not the music, because I turned that off straight away, but the sounds in that, the effects from the engine noises and stuff that are really excellent. So it's some good stuff.
I mean, can I give a shout out then to Jurassic World Evolution 2?
Yeah.
I mean, I can do what I want. It's our podcast, but it's,
yeah.
I don't know what the sound design's like in that or the music. I completely forgot. But it does deserve best music, because every time I play it, I sit there and go, and then that's me playing it. I'm making my own music in my head. So shout out
Thumbs
for that.
up for that. Yeah.
Oh, and one more actually that was really good sound design that surprised me. But I played it initially like using monitor speakers. But then I was bought a new monitor for my birthday, so that hasn't got speakers in it. So I had to put headphones on. Beasts of Maravella Island. That was really nice. It felt really atmospheric. You just felt like you was like in a jungle at points and stuff like that. It's just, again, it was just really good ambient sound design. I suppose, like, if you want to compare, for me, the best ambient sound design ever in a video game is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's the standard bearer for me. Others might disagree. I don't know. But for me, that's the standard bearer. Chernobyl does that. And Beast of Maravella Island, yeah, that did it as well. That I felt really immersed in that game based on the sound.
Yeah, it's fantastic when they get it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff. Well, we came up with more than I thought we would, to be quite honest. That's good. Yeah. All right, then. Well, the next category that we're going to look at is a funny one, especially because I don't really invest in much of it, but it's best DLC. So I will let you go first, Brad. What's the best DLC that you've encountered this year?
It's the paper DLC, and only because I'm looking at this right on my screen at the moment. It's the paper DLC for last week's Cardboard Metal Tin.
Yeah, that's the one. The stuff that I sent through the post. Excellent.
Someone's still got to make that game. Make that game!
I know, right?
Not enhanced, because they're busy with droplets.
Yeah.
Best DLC. I don't really play DLC. So I don't know if it was... I got it as, I suppose, like an entire package. So I don't know whether I could claim it's best DLC or if it came out this year. But Phoenix Point, Year 1 edition.
Yeah.
That's got lots of stuff added to it, like extra campaign-based stuff. And it just really expanded on what the game was. That's what I want from DLC. I don't want DLC that just adds skins and whatever to it. That don't bother me whatsoever. But I like the idea of something that feels like it expands the game you're playing, but you don't need to invest completely in the original experience. So you can play it standalone in a way if you really, really want to. Or you could just go back to it at a much later time. You haven't, I didn't really play like the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn because I'd left the game for too long. I was like, I've done now. Whereas for something like Phoenix Point, I felt like I could go back in after a while if I really wanted to and play it. But that's probably the only DLC I've played, really.
Yeah.
And I don't even know whether other people go, yeah, that's good. I don't know. Because I play indie games, I don't think there's much DLC for indie games.
Generally, no. It's rare, isn't it? They've...
Oh, no, sorry. I'll interrupt. Sorry, that will go to Binding of Isaac Repentance, of course.
Right.
Jesus Christ, how did I not put that straight away? It's just more Binding of Isaac with more stuff thrown in, keeps the same core gameplay, more stuff thrown in, one of the best roguelites ever made, come at me.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Fair play. Well, but yeah, the point about indie stuff not having a lot of DLC is right, but they tend to do it in a kind of free expansion kind of a thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Like the... oh, God, what's it called? No, I'm not going to remember, so I'll skip over that, pretend it didn't happen. They added that...
We'll add it in later as DLC.
Yeah. That V-Racer hoverbike that I've bought and played a bit of and not really committed as much time to it as I should, have put in a Tron kind of mode where it makes it look like you're riding... Yeah, I know. Those bikes from Tron, and that's free. So, they tend to do nice things like that with that.
How does V-Racer hoverbike sound more made up than Cardboard Metal Tin?
I don't know. Funny that, isn't it? But it does. That sounds like my first game name kind of thing. It's not great. But, what a great thing to drop for people. And, yeah, Enter the Gungeon. That was the one I was thinking about as well.
Yes. More games would be better with Tron aesthetic.
Yes, that arcade that I was playing in VR is entirely Tron rip-off. It's just, it barely even hides the fact, which is great. And, it looks amazing.
I think even if you took This War of Mine and gave it a Tron aesthetic, it'd work.
Yeah, I do.
That's probably completely the wrong choice, and someone's going to take offence to that because that is a deeply, deeply, deeply depressing game.
I know.
But I'm just going to roll with it. I don't care.
Would make it a bit cheerier, yeah.
Yes.
But moving swiftly on. No, I think that's a good selection considering there's obviously what I was just talking about, the Ace Combat DLC.
Yes.
Yeah, as I say, it's good. It's probably overpriced. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. These things have to be designed and modelled and balanced in the game, and it does take quite a bit of time. But yeah, it's fairly expensive, but worth it.
That doesn't help me. I don't actively seek out DLC.
Yeah.
If there's DLC included with a package or whatever, I go, yeah, that'll do. But
Yeah,
I don't seek it out.
yeah.
And it's how you can tell we've pulled these out at random because I probably played loads of stuff with DLC if I really thought about it, but I don't know if they're DLC.
You definitely,
but who knows?
Yeah. Well, you definitely did because you played that Stellaris Aquatic expansion one, but you'd not played.
Well, I've played the base game, but I don't know. Actually, they might have some DLC baked into it. I don't actually know.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, it does. If you start a game and it has the DLC already added, then it's not DLC to you, is it? It's just the game. So yeah.
Oh, I forgot to give my de facto answer. Bugger.
Tetris Effect Connected.
Tetris Effect Connected. It added the connected mode. That was last year technically, but it came out on Switch. So yeah, Tetris Effect Connected wins that award.
Cool. Always. It's just the answer to everything. Shout out for, I haven't bought it, but a shout out for the new characters you can buy for Guilty Gear Strive, because that's an excellent game. And I think $5.99 for a character isn't much when, the full game costs, whatever it costs. And it has a set number of characters.
They send me emails. Seems to be every week there's a new bloody character.
Yeah. There's a lot. But I think it's reasonably priced considering the level of work and balance they have to put into it. But maybe not everyone will agree.
People love people who are into their fighting games. They're their own community, their own people. They like that. They may not like it, but they buy into it still. So, but yeah, they're happy and it works.
True.
As long as the game's cheap enough and not like what happened with Street Fighter 5 should be a lesson to everyone.
Yeah, no, I think $5.99, which is the price of a couple of cups of coffee for a game that you love is all right. I think that's fine personally, but your opinion may vary.
Yes. So moving on.
Yes, moving on.
We're not going to use a post-production sound effect of Stu digging around or anything like that. What's next randomly out of the list?
Well, I might do that because that would be quite funny. But the next one in the list is the best remake or remaster or port, that kind of thing. And there's an absolute bunch of them this year. So, what's yours? It's
Tetris Effect Connected on the Switch.
Hey!
I will shoehorn that into everything. Best FPS Tetris.
Yep.
It's because if you play it in VR, it's first person.
True. But no, it's a good choice.
Right, best. I don't know what I've played. I mean, it's clearly not Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I'll start with mine if you like, and we might give you an idea.
Yes, go, because I'm going to have a think.
Well, mine is the Solitaire Conspiracy on the Switch, because that came over from PC, didn't it?
Oh, yes.
And that seems to me like, it should have been designed and brought out on the Switch as a first console because it works perfectly on it, kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's a great. It seems like a great port. I haven't played the original on the PC or anything, but on the Switch, it seems like its natural home, and it's one of the most fun, smaller games like Coffee. It's a bit more than a coffee game like we were talking about. It's a bit longer than that, but it's definitely one of the shorter experiences and absolutely perfectly fit for the Switch. It's really good.
Yes, that's a good shout, and it's got the great accessibility zoom in button as well.
Yeah, I use that all the time, and my eyesight is, it's rubbish.
Yeah, that was heaven sent for me. I love that, and. Not Jeff Keighley. Someone decided not to put Jeff Keighley in their video game. Greg Miller, really good turn.
Yeah.
Could have been cheesy, could have been crap. Nailed his character. So yeah, Good. Yeah, that's a good choice. I like that. I would have
Cool.
gone for that if I'd have thought about it.
Is there anything else you can...
See, the one... Yeah, well, the one that... There's one that standing out. I think it's because it's probably one I played most recently. But Dying Light Platinum Edition on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I dare say people can find fault with it, because people will find fault with everything. It probably drops frames here and there, but it's a complete package. It's got all the DLC added to it, and it's like almost like a full-on like Game of the Year type thing. But for me, it run really well. But once it opens up, once you get past that initial slow grind of, oh, here's the game, here's the story introducing, it's just brilliant fun to sort of run around, a zombie-filled town and trying to survive. And on the Switch, it actually works really, really well, because I'm happy just to go in for 20 minutes, like boot up the Switch, go in for 20 minutes, run around a bit, do a side mission, turn it off, and done. Yeah, no, that's probably probably doesn't get as much attention as like your Grand Theft Auto or anything, but for me, that was a really well-made port.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that's a good choice. I think I was watching a DF video or something about, they were saying, that Dying Light 2 was an example of it being done very, very well. So I know it's like...
Oh, really? Okay.
It's like server hosted, isn't it? And streamed, rather with a component on the Switch, but, basically cloud-based, isn't it? Or have I got that wrong? Is it completely local on the Switch?
What one's that, sorry?
Dying Light 2.
That's right. So it's cloud-based, but they apparently haven't ruled out making a full conversion version of it.
Right, I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So it sounds like it's a good port, but obviously it does have the backing of massive servers. So, yeah. Still good, though.
Art of Rally, that's a really good port as well. Just need to point that out. That's a really good port. That's like when that got moved to the Switch earlier this year as well.
Oh,
that
cool.
worked really well. But it's not really been... I usually look forward to like a nice big retro remake. There's not been any big retro remakes. There's been homages. So you got Bonfire Peaks, which is a nice PS1 era homage, but it's not a remake or it's not a port or anything like that. And there's nothing really... I'm just looking through my list. There's no big... Oh, do you remember this game from the past? Here's a port or remake of it. So I don't think there's been much this year, apart from maybe like... I think we're into trying to do like the PS4, Xbox One era ports for some reason, when you could just play them. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's been, some good stuff. Yeah, I've enjoyed the ones I've interacted with.
Yeah, again, we're probably missing loads and stuff like that, but this is off the top of our heads. I don't see the point in preparing for these, because you spend so long debating on yourself, oh, shall I talk about this one? Shall I do this one? It just takes out your initial reaction from it. And I think sometimes to choose these sort of things, it's just what stands out. If it doesn't stand out, it probably wasn't your initial choice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good. I like doing it this way.
So, so screw you, Giant Bob. I'm going to start a beef with Giant Bob. Screw you, Giant Bob, with your end-of-year deliberations or everything. You don't need deliberations. Just, what's your favourite sound design? It's Tetris. What's your favourite puzzle game? It's Tetris. What's your favourite indie game? It's Tetris. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Oh, dear. And then you're going to completely nullify all that by having a well-formulated list for the Christmas Day episode.
I've been planning my game of the year, my actual game of the year, since the 1st of January.
I know, I do that.
So a list of that's on the list, and then I can start removing stuff as we go. And I'm down to about 20 games, I think it is. But a couple, there might be surprises. You'll have to tune in to the actual game of the year episode. There might be surprises.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's it then. So, yeah. We're done with that bit. How professional.
Yeah, I've not even thought about. So I'm gonna talk about one thing, actually. I'm gonna talk about one thing about what you do when work gets too much. Yes, Brad, we know you're unemployed at the moment, so, what have you got to talk about? But someone close to me is going through some bad crap at the moment with work, to the point where they are, they're coming home and there's tears and upset and stuff like that. So they're trying to look for another job. But I've never understood why, even if it's low level, power really does corrupt people's attitudes to other people. And I've never understood why we do that. As human beings, why we feel the need that as soon as we get a bit of power, we feel our power being challenged in any way, shape or form. We punch down, we tread and try and keep people down. It's the only word I can think. Like, you surely you want loyalty, you want people to get better. I've never understood that. Is it just me being naive to the way of the world, or is the world just that screwed up?
It's a really, really, really good question, and I don't think there are any easy answers. I mean, one thing that I can point to from having worked in different cultures of, like office environments, and not just offices, being in retail and stuff in the past, it really does depend on the working culture in a particular place. But I think it's even bigger than that. I think certain areas and industries have like a more defined working culture in either a positive or a negative way, and I think the ones that are underfunded are the ones that feel that they suffer the most. Like, I used to work for a mega corporation, and everybody in there was lovely, but the mega corporation itself is not lovely.
Yeah,
and it's just because there's just a handful at the top who are creaming everything off and making the big decisions badly. Well, not necessarily badly, but good for business, not good for people. But I think, in sort of stuff like privatised areas where they shouldn't be privatised, they should be nationalised, or they should at least be part nationalised. Stuff that you absolutely depend on, like public transport, the energy suppliers, and, the care industry and mental health provision and all that. If you're paying less than you should and you are asking people to do more than they really ought to be, they can get away with pretty much murder, as long as, because bosses will rise to the top who don't care how they treat people to get what they want out of them.
Yeah.
They will emerge, whereas people who are good and nice and kind, they'll take their skills elsewhere where they're they're going to be more appreciated. So I think you just, in underfunded areas particularly, you do end up with the worst people in the most powerful positions sometimes.
Yeah, I suppose, like, you mentioned about megacorps and things like that. It's like one of our listeners, one of our community, works technically for a mega corporation, I suppose one of the biggest corporations in the world. Yet, whenever they've spoke about how their particular department has treated them, it's like, wow, that's really lovely. And the support they give them, especially when they've had some sort of like really big issues to sort out. Yet, the other person I'm speaking about is, working for a small family company and is being treated like absolute crap. And it really does mess with my head, to the point, they'd rather be working in a warehouse than doing what they're doing at the moment, And again, I'm never going to disparage anyone who works in a warehouse or does any kind of labour like that, because that's what, as we've learned, that's what keeps the world ticking by. I'm waiting on a bloody parcel still that's been stuck in a delivery centre for 3 days.
Yeah.
See, that's part of it. Tell them their job's crap so they go work in the delivery centre and get my parcel to me quicker. It's all part of my mega plan.
Well, genius. But it's like, that's another underfunded area, and, I'm complicit in it, ordering stuff that I know is being delivered by people who have to, break their own backs just to fit in as many in a day to make it a worthwhile enterprise. And, it's terrible. It's just the world we're in with that. But, working in a warehouse and stuff has its own. There's no kind of unskilled jobs. They all have their own skills that are needed. But being in a warehouse can be one of those situations where you get so good at it, that you kind of can switch off and have a laugh with your colleagues and listen to the radio, and you're very productive, but without having to be really driven down.
Yeah.
But again, that depends on having plenty of staff, the right number of people working. It needs to allow you to like have proper toilet breaks and to sit down and to be able to listen to the radio and not be penalised for having a laugh with people. And it's kind of like, again, it's devalued to the point where, oh no, we can pay minimum or even less than minimum wage and force people into that situation. It's just terrible.
Yeah. The absolute worst for that is, I know Amazon get a lot of... I'm not defending Amazon, so I was about to defend Amazon, but I'm not, nowhere near. Amazon get a lot of pushback on the way they treat their staff, rightly so. But I will still maintain one of the worst jobs out there for being treated like you are just pure cattle, or even cattle get treated better going to the slaughter, is call centre work.
Yeah.
The micro monitoring of you've been to the toilet twice in an hour, right? And the second time you was off the phone, so you must have been in the toilet for 4 minutes. You're not allowed 4 minutes on the toilet. What?
Yeah.
Or you have a particularly stressful call with like you need a cuppa, you need something, or you need a cigarette break just quickly because like the person on the other end of the call is a right arsehole. Or you even just need to vent to the person next to you, going, Jesus Christ, I just can't. The horrible things that this person was saying because their bouquet of flowers didn't get there on time and stuff like that. But you micromanage to the point where you're a second late back on the phone, you've pulled up on it, and that goes towards your overall performance reviews and stuff like that. Worst job ever. I generally... I'm not going to lie, hypocritically at times, I've got a bit angry and frustrated at call centre work, but generally I try my hardest to show a level of respect to people who work in a call centre that they probably don't get from most people, because that is a horrible job. I'd rather be like picking crap up off the floor than do that again.
Well, that's it. And none of these jobs in themselves are inherently bad jobs to do.
No.
There are inherently bad jobs to do. Cleaning out the inside of a sewer, that wouldn't be a great one. But,
He's just flush it into the ocean now, it's fine.
Well, let's not go on to that. But, but none of the ones we've been talking about are bad jobs to do. And in fact, they should be the kind of jobs that you can find joy in. All jobs really should have at least a component of that. And like I said about the thing with, packing stuff in a warehouse, there are people who love doing repetitive tasks. It relaxes them, and that's a great job for them to do if it paid what it should pay and if there were enough people doing it. And stuff like delivery, if they were getting paid enough, then they might really enjoy the driving around. But it's just underpaid. And to go back to your original point, it does attract bad bosses because the higher ups, the people who own these companies, want it to be as low paid as possible and have as few staff as possible. And that call centre thing is, you monitor every moment of their working life, and that way that you're forcing sort of 7 hours of solid work out of them, even if it's detrimental to their mental health.
Yeah, I had, back when I was doing like graphic design and trying to do like sort of web coding and stuff like that, I had a client that I was starting to work for, and I ended up saying, you know what, it's not worth it. Really, I could do with the money, but it's just not worth it, because they basically wanted me to keep a spreadsheet of everything I was doing. So when I started writing code, when I stopped to get a glass of water or to have a break, have some, fully monitor it. And I went, you can't, if you want me to be creative, I can't do that. You pay me, like, if I tell you I've spent 5 hours on it, you just have to take my word for it. I'm not going to rip you off, but if you're going to micro monitor me, you're not going to get the best out of me at all.
Yeah.
But you don't, and it's like, some people just really don't have a clue how to treat people and see everything apart from them as low skilled. Call centre work's not low skilled, I can tell you that, having done it.
I know.
sales could go in the bin, right? That's again, I don't blame the people who are doing the calls, but let's just get rid of sales, telephone sales, telesales, get rid of it. It shouldn't be a job. It shouldn't be a thing. Get rid of it. It's the most demoralising work I've ever done, because you are, for 99.9% of the time, being basically made out to be a failure, because you get your target, you're not hitting your target, and everyone's telling you to F off and do this, don't bother them at home, it's often wrong numbers, whatever, the piss person's dead now. And you're just like constantly just being told, no, F off, F off, F off, and you feel like crap. And, you often they get told, well, not lie a bit, but exaggerate a little bit. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to lie to someone that will save them money on their electricity bills when at best they'll save 10p a year. Not doing that.
Yeah.
Get rid of that as a job completely. But customer service on phones, instead of having 10 people manning a line, which is fine, if what you need to do is maybe, instead of having them take calls every second, or having no break between calls, get 20 people in. If that's not enough, get 30 people in. We live in a world now where actually the technology's there. You've got computers, you've got the internet. Let people work from home and do those jobs, and haven't got to go into a call centre office.
Yeah, I know.
And we showed that works during lockdown.
Yeah.
You got jobs to do. You got your kids there. It's fine. Do you need to deal with them? And like, oh, no, they're just being annoyed. Okay, if you do need to, let us know. Absolutely fine. And people were generally okay with that. So let's do that. Let's try and make people happy in their work. People will want to work if they're happy, or if they've got that. I'm going to say it once. I'm not going to linger on this. Or if they've got the safety net of a universal basic income, that's not the be-all and end-all of their life. People will want to work. I guarantee it.
I know. How easy would it be to fill those jobs? I would happily do, a Christmas period of being a postie, or working in a as long as I could sit down on a packing warehouse. I would do that sort of stuff. I'd be more than happy to if I had UBI. Definitely.
Yeah. Also, just on that, I meant to pick up with this last week. Was it last week? No, it was after last week's episode. I was talking to Lucas about it, about housing, and so just solve homelessness by giving everyone a house. He went, what would really work, Dad? Right, he goes, if you're a single person, and I went, yeah, you get a 1-bedroom house that you don't have to pay rent for. Okay. If you've got 2 of you living together, you still get a 1-bedroom house that you don't have to pay for because you only need the 1 room. If you've got 1 child, you get a 2-bedroom house. If you've got 2 children, you get a 3-bedroom house, and so on and so forth. You don't have to pay rent for it. It's government paid. I was like, okay, yeah, I like the sound of that. He went, but if you do want a bigger house, so he says, say for example, us, right? We should have a 3-bedroom house for me, for Edith, and for you and Mum. Like, okay, but if we wanted a 4-bedroom house, then we pay the extra rent. Like, yeah, that'd work. So people who want a bigger space, yeah, well done. You've just solved the housing crisis, Lucas.
I know. Well, that's what I love about the young,
Imagine how much rent the Queen would have to pay for Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Imagine the people who should be paying their taxes actually paying their taxes. That would be amazing. Yeah.
It's just, he went, I don't know why they don't. I went, you'll find out when you're older.
Yeah. The wonderful, naive socialism of the youth. Yeah.
Yeah, can we let teenagers run the country just for a few years and see what happens?
I've been saying this for forever, that young people know what it's about. You should give them more power. But of course, that's why they don't give them more power. Yeah. What's
that book where they put... I know the book, I've read it a few times, where all the kids go on the island and just kids.
Lord of the Flies.
It's like the island. Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good model for government, really.
Well, to be fair, no, that's the model that older people look at and go, oh, that's how kids would do it, right? But I reckon if you used to actually do it, right, not for reality TV or entertainment or anything, if you used to actually put a bunch of kids of various different ages on an island, I'm willing to bet they would create a sound structural society.
Or, yeah, possibly, but, also... You could think of Lord of the Flies as the Tory government. So they've got control of an island. The people, bullies are at the top. There's a pig's head in there. You know, it's all starting to come together.
What are they doing with the pig's head?
Well, let's not go into that on a family show. But, you know, yeah, it's there.
Oh, you say, well, this is where we're behind with stuff. I was going to originally introduce this show with talking about Peppa Pig World and stuff like that. And I went, that's so much has happened in the world of politics that's already forgotten old news.
I know. Well, this is what, you know, the constant news cycle is the thing that gets people out of trouble. It gets people like, you know, Boris Johnson out of trouble because they move on to something else.
Yeah, the whole second jobs thing.
I know.
As like, I remember when like you found out there was a politician bought some pornography on taxpayers' money at a hotel from like back in the 90s or whatever it was, and that was news for weeks.
I know. There was accountability. Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ! But yeah, that's the world we live in. You get treated like and then you play video games to escape it all.
Yep, that's what I do.
Yes. Yeah, you fully escape. You go into VR.
That's right. You know, there's a correlation there.
Yeah, I go. See, I'm like James Stephanie Sterling. I'm not like them, obviously, because that'd be weird. But it's I wish I didn't know as much as I knew sometimes. And
yeah.
I wish I could just enjoy video games like lots. 99% of the people just go, I like this video game, I'll play it. Whether it's Ubisoft, Activision, Indie, whatever, they'll play whatever. Whereas I'm going, actively ignoring that, not playing that. That's got microtransactions. Don't want to do that. I just wish I didn't.
I know,
but I can't not.
I know. I'm exactly the same. I don't think that I've. Yeah, once I found out about a dodgy place, I don't think I've bought something from them since. Which is definitely.
I want to play Riders Republic, but I won't.
Yeah,
because I've heard good things. It's like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I do, but I can't.
Well, you could get a second. I would say get a second-hand copy. Is there a physical copy available?
I don't know. To the point, no, because I only really play PC now and Switch.
Yeah.
It's only on PC, so it'll be digital. It's just like, but do I want to play it enough? No. I don't want to even give them the download numbers. So same as I've not downloaded to even see how bad that eFootball thing is from Konami.
No.
Because that's a success for them. I've not got any of the free games that Ubisoft have offered. It's like, nope. I think when I've had some that have come into like Epic Game Store or the Amazon Prime stuff, nope. Which is, I suppose, there's a sweet irony that I'm going, I'll take this stuff from Amazon for free, but I won't touch the Ubisoft or Activision stuff. You know, there's levels of hypocrisy, and I understand I'm being a bit hypocritical by doing Amazon and taking a stand with certain video games, but it's like,
no, I get it.
Put me in a bubble. I want to go in a bubble.
Yeah, bubble boy. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
That was a bad film. Jake Gyllenhaal. It's amazing that he went from Bubble Boy to be one of the world's most respected actors.
I don't think I've seen that. I was referring to the Seinfeld thing, and but yeah.
Oh, okay. Go for that era. There's that era of like really crass, shitty, bad comedy, like Freddie Got Fingered, Bubble Boy, Joe Dirt, all stuff like that. That era. Search out Bubble Boy. It's awful.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. I'll waste my time on that.
But honestly, in that, it's awful. But car crash awful.
Okay. Because car crashes are fun. No, I know what you mean though. Yeah, no, it's just like it's so bad it's good style, kind of can't look away kind of thing. Yeah,
that's our title. Car crashes are fun.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's not. But yeah. Oh dear. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover before we?
Puppies, kittens, rainbows. Just there you go.
Cool.
They're fun. Stu, take us out.
But I hope you realise I'm going to cut all the bit before that and just have that bit in so that it's all happy and upbeat. But yeah.
Just that's the entire show.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right, so other than that, on that, high note of the puppies and the kittens and all of that, let's leave it there. And next week, obviously, we'll be carrying on doing some of our games of the year, but not kind of thing. It's really well structured, this, isn't it?
Stuff of the year.
Yeah,
stuff
of the year. Yeah, and hopefully you'll tune in for that. And then we've got the whole end of year mega extravaganza stuff coming up, which is, it's not mega extravaganza, it's just me and him talking again, But if you like that, then you're in the right place. So in the meantime, stay safe and stay sane.